Okay, welcome everyone. As we have a delicious night tonight with beautiful daf and then a special chumash here, and we are sponsored by Shalom Fogel, Eli Nishmas Yaakov Zeb ben Yehuda Aryeh, Rivka Bas Yaakov Yosef, Tzivya Miriam Bas God, Yosef ben Tzion ben Yaakov Zeb, by Baruch Ian, Eli Nishmas Yaakov Chai ben Abba, Esther Bas Gittel, Avram ben Shmuel HaKohen by Yaakov Yemansky, with HaKos HaTov to the Rav and the Zoom family, and Nachas from children and grandchildren by A.B. Spry from Nachas from children and grandchildren, Ed Salah from London, and Joshua Rosenberg of Virtual Talmud. We learn, and we're glad to have Gedalia with us, and Gedalia has informed me that the surgery went as best as possible. They only had to, do it one time, and Baruch Hashem, we are mispal for Gedalia Baruch ben Chava Brindel, that it should be completely healed and be nothing alarming. We learn from Shimon Yehuda ben Gittel. Mel, do you know if Shimon's surgery went well?
Actually saw him last night in Ira. I spoke to him. Surgery went okay. I have to just check on his retina yet, make sure that it's in place. I'll know next week, beginning of next week.
All right, please tell him we're anxiously awaiting his return. Okay, so we welcome in Saba. It's good to have you, Saba, and Dr. Guy. Dr. Guy, so far I haven't been able to ascertain your question. My files are not able to tell me the answer. Menachem Umansky, Yisrael Fisher. And Yisrael Fisher, I like that you're here even though you're in Brooklyn. It means you're a good boy. And Yisrael is going to be sponsoring the Chumash here tonight. Irving Fishbaum, Shalom Fogel, Yitz Fuchs, the donkey. I
know I'm going to be the subject, so I just put it down.
Oh, okay. But Baruch Hashem, it's good to have, there used to be the amazing Mr. Ed. Now we have the amazing Mr. Marshall. The A.B. Spry, Baruch Ian, Yitzi Muller, Mel Zachter, Aaron Swade, Stephen Holtzman, Gedalia Engel, Nachman Chapler, Ruvain Pollux, Dr. Black, Naftali Jablin, Berish Gesserman, Ilya Shutman, Rabbi Kranz, Avram Rezepkwitz, Shelley Zeitman, Abe Arbach is coming in over here. We have in the shul with us a great delight, Avram Shenkman, and Michal Avram, and Chaim Kramer. We begin at the Mishnah on Daf Ayin Ches Amud Aleph. Hamoicher es hachamor. Marshall sells a donkey, and if you want to know who he's selling it to, he's selling it to Yisrael Fisher in Brooklyn. So, Hamoicher es hachamor, if he sells a donkey, loy mochar kelav, he doesn't sell with it its accessories. Now we'll see what kind of accessories we're going to be talking about. Nacham Amadi Yamamacher Kalev, he does sell the accessories. Rabbi Yehuda says it depends. Pa'amim mechurim, sometimes it's sold. Pa'amim einam mechurim, sometimes it's not sold. Ketzad hayachamor lefonav, if the donkey is in front of him. The kalev olav, and it has, we'll see, it has the saddle bags and the equipment. V'amalei mecholi chamorcha zeh, and Yisrael says, sell to me this donkey of yours. Hare kalev mechurin. The word zeh is superfluous, and therefore it's coming to include even the equipment. However, if he says chamorcha, is this your donkey? Is he your donkey? Then he didn't say the superfluous zeh, so then ein kelev mechurin, then the accessories are not sold with it. Now, there are certain accessories that are automatically sold with it. Amar ula machloikis besak, the sack that we put stuff in, the diskaya, and the saddlebags. The kumni, if you remember, the kumni was a side saddle that women rode on. The Tanakama Savar, the Tanakama holds stam chamor is lirkov kai, is for riding, and therefore it doesn't include that which holds burdens or that which holds a woman with it. The Nachum Hamadi Savar stam chamor lemasui kai, it's to take a burden or to take a woman with you, and therefore he holds even the saddle bags and the side saddle is included. Aval okef, but the saddle itself, umardas, the cushion that goes under the saddle, kilkale, the strap that binds the saddle that goes under the animal to attach the saddle, the chevek, and likewise the band by the breast of the animal that holds it in place, that's specific to the donkey, it fits the donkey, and everybody holds that that's sold with the donkey. So now the Gemara says, well, Meisvei, Chamor v'kelev ani meichalach, if he says, I'm selling the donkey with its equipment, harizeh mocher es ha'ukaf es hamardas, he sells the saddle and the cushion, v'esa kilkali, the strap that goes underneath it, v'esa devek, the chevek, that which is goes under the breast. Avaloi mocher sak v'diskaya v'kumni, but he doesn't sell the sack, the saddlebags, the side saddle. Ubezman she'amar, but if he says he v'kol masha aleh, if he says it and everything that is on it, harikulan mechurin, then everything is sold. So says the Gemara, the implication is that where do we say that the saddle and the cushion is sold? It's only where he says chamor v'kelev. Time amalei chamor v'kelev, where he says chamor and its equipment, who dekani ukafamardas, is where he gets the saddle and the cushion. Haloi amalei hachi, if he just says chamor, loi, which is not like you said. You said that together with the donkey is always sold the saddle. That's specific to the specific donkey, even if he doesn't say chamor v'kelev. So the Gemara says no. Huadin, in truth, Huadin the afal gav deloy amalei chamor v'kelev. Even if he doesn't say chamor and its equipment, even if he just says chamor, nami ukuf madas mechurin. The saddle and the saddle cushion and the band that goes under the body of the donkey and the band by the breast, all is sold. Why does it say chamor v'kelev? V'akamash malan, afal gav the amalei chamor v'kelev, the chamor and the equipment, it still doesn't include the saddle bag and the side saddle. Sack v'diskania v'kumni, the sacks and the saddlebags and the side saddle loikani. Why? Unless he says v'kol mash aleh. Now the Gemara says, could you tell me the definition of kumni? My kumni. Amar Papa Shmuel merkafted in the sheikh. That's the side saddle for the women. As we welcome in Elliot Udell for our 29th Zoomer of the evening. It's nice that we're getting more people now. With Mark, we would have 30, and we're still missing people.
This is a saddle, not a saddle. When the guy goes to buy something, doesn't ask him, you're going to sell me with a saddle?
We're talking about where he doesn't ask. You're right.
Right.
He wakes up later. Now, I made a bracha already, Rabbi Isai. Now, welcome, Elliot. Ibayelu. And Elliot, you're just joining us. We're 10 lines from the bottom of Ayin Ches Amud Aleph on a beautiful Wednesday evening. We did the Mishnah Yomis already earlier so that we could go straight to the Chumash here. Ibayelu. Ba'oiden olav machlokes. This machlokes between the Tanakama and the Nachum Hamadi of whether the side saddle and the saddle bag and the sacks is sold, is it talking about ba'oiden olav machlokes, where it's on the animal when you're selling it? Aval b'she'enon olav, and here we are with much awaited Ruvain Shannon is joining us. 9 lines from the bottom of Ayin Ches Amud Aleph. Aval b'she'enon olav, but if it's not on the animal, then Yisrael doesn't get it for sure. Moidalu Nachum Hamadi, that Marshall is not selling it. O Dilma, or perhaps b'she'enon olav machlokes. It's talking about where it's not on the animal. Aval ba'oiden olav, but if it's on the animal, then the Rabbanan Amayda that it's sold. Moida le Rabbanan lenachum. So Tajma, here's our 30th Zoomer. Tajma. Ubezman she'amaloi hu v'kol ma she'alav. If he says it and everything that's upon it, then hari kulam mechurin. So if it's talking about where it's upon it, so i'amid bishleima. This is a brisa. The brisa says that when he says and everything upon it, right? That's more than chamar v'kelev. He says if he says v'kol ma'asha olav, then everybody agrees that it's sold. The sack, the diskaya, the side saddle. So i'amid bishleima ba'oiden olav machlokes. If you'll say that they're arguing where it's on it, and here it's telling us where it's on it, it's only if you say kol masha olav, but otherwise it's not sold, then hamani rabbanani. That's going according to Rabbanan, that even when it's upon it, it's not sold unless you say kol masha olav. That they're only arguing when it's not on the animal, but where it is on the animal. Everybody holds that it is sold with the animal. Then this brisa that says where it's on it, it's only sold if you say it's not going like Rabbanan, it's not going like Nachum. Hamani, it's not like the Rabbanan, not like Nachum. Says the Gemara, La'olam b'she'enon oiden olav machlokes. The machlokes is where the sack, the diskaya, the kumni is not on the animal. Rabbanani, over here it says that it's only if he says kol masha olav, even if it's on the animal, you see that it's only if he says kol masha olav. Says no. The ema ubizman she'amaloihu the kol masha roi liyos olav. In other words, the argument is where it's not on the animal. But even if it's not on the animal, everybody agrees. If he says it and all that is fit to be upon it, then the sack and the diskaya and the side saddle is included. Now, Tajma. Rabbi Yehuda Aimer, Pa'amim mechurin, sometimes it's sold to Yisrael, all the equipment, even the saddle bags and the side saddle, and then it goes on to say, if he says chamor chazeh, so that means that the equipment is upon it. So since the Sefer is talking about where the equipment is upon it, doesn't that mean that the Reisha is also talking about where the equipment is upon it? my love, my Tanakama, Koi Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda is responding to the same case as what the Tanakama is talking about. So that would mean that the Tanakama is talking about even though the accessories are upon it, and even if the sack and the diskaya and the side saddle is upon it, still the Rabbanan say it's not sold together with the donkey. Says in Rabbi Yehuda, Milsa Achrite Kam. Rabbi Yehuda is talking about a different case. He's not talking about, maybe the Reish is talking about where it's not on the animal, and Rabbi Yehuda is talking about where it is on the animal. So, says Gemara, Rabbeinu Ravashi Tajma, we learned, if you could make that lower, I would appreciate it. Tajma, Machar es Akroin, if let's say Marshall sells the wagon, Loy Machar es Apredis, he doesn't sell it with it, the mule. And the Tani Rav Tachlifa bar Marava Kamid Ravavo, we said not that way. We said Machar es Akroin, Machar es Apredis. If you sold the wagon, you sold the mules. So we said V'amalei v'anan loy Machar tanan. In our Mishnah it says that he doesn't sell the mule. V'amalei, and he said Ismaye, should I erase it? V'amalei loy titagem masnisach badukim boy. The Bryce is talking about where the mule is attached to the wagon. Then when you sell the wagon, you sell the mule. The Michlal, the Masnisen, the Mishnah is talking about where the mules are not attached to the wagon. Now, Ubidaresha, since the first part of the Mishnah is talking about where it's not attached, so let's say Sefer Nami b'she'ein oiden alav. It shows that the machlokes between Rabbanan and Nachum is only where the side saddle and the sack and the saddlebag is not attached to the animal. Says Gemara Adrabah. Emaresha. Avaloi Machar, we said if you sell a boat, you don't sell loyas avodim, not the servants, v'loyas antike, and not the cargo. V'amrin on my antike, what does it mean, antike? Amra papa iska de begava, the cargo in the boat. So you see that in the Reisha, it's talking about where the cargo is in the boat. So then say over here also it's talking about where the saddlebag is attached to the donkey. Even though when it talked about the wagon, it was talking about where the mules are not attached to the wagon. So Midrasha ba'aydan alav, we should say that since the cargo is in the boat, Sefer Nami ba'aydan alav, it's talking about where the side saddle and the saddlebags are attached to the donkey. Elatana mile mile kitani. Each part of the Mishnah is talking about a different case, and you can't prove one part from the other part. So it's not conclusive whether the saddlebag is on the donkey or not. The Gemara couldn't bring a raya. Now the Gemara does, as it does in many situations, the Gemara is going to show us a common denominator of many different great rabbis that hold that sales are more inclusive. Let's see it inside. Amalei Abaya, Rabbi Elazar, Rabbi Shimon Gamliel, Rabbi Meir, Rabbi Nasan, V'Sumchus, V'Nachum Amodi, Kulu Sviralahu, they all hold Ki mazvin inish midei, when a person sells something, iu v'kol tashmisheh mazvin. It and all of his accessories are sold. And by the way, I'm saying over here, the Reish Aleph, it is Rabbi Eliezer and not Rabbi Elazar. Now, I make a point of that because the Aleinu L'Shabeach tells a remarkable story that somebody came over to the Chafetz Chaim when, according to the assessment of his true age, because they say that the Chafetz Chaim was 10 years older than is really listed, the Chafetz Chaim was already older than 100. And the person asked him a question, a stira, between one statement of Rabbi Elazar and another statement in Shas. and this is the Chavetz Chaim, who's very old, over 100. He puts down his head for a second, and he thinks, and he picks it up, and he says, well, one is Rebbe Lazar, and one is Rebbe Eliezer. So it's not a contradiction. This is the Chavetz Chaim, over 100 years old. So anyway, the first one that says that in the sale is more inclusive, Rebbe Eliezer. Ditnan Rebbe Eliezer ma'moicher es beis abad. If you sell an olive press, mocher es hakayra. You sell the central beam, which is lowered down with the screw onto the olives. The Rabbanan say that the korah, since it's not attached to the ground, is not sold with it. Rebbe Eliezer is more inclusive, says it is sold. Reb Shimon Gamliel did not. Reb Shimon Gamliel Omer, hamoicher es ha'ir. If you sell a city, mocher es ha'santar. You also sell the slave. That's the recording clerk of the city. The Rabbanan hold that slave is not sold. There's another pshat that the santar is the valleys around the perimeter of the field. Rameir, the Tani Rameir, I'm a mocher es hakerem. If you sell a vineyard, mocher tashmishi hakerem. You sell the accessories of the vineyard. Those are the reeds that prop up the vines. Reb Nosson and Sumchus say when you sell a boat, beitzis v'dugas, you sell the lifeboats and the shuttle boats that are lashed to the side of the boat. Nacham Amadi had the Amran that if you sell a donkey, you sell with it its accessories. Reb Yudai and Pa'amim mechurim, Pa'amim she'ena mechurim. Sometimes Marshall sells to Yisrael the equipment, and sometimes he doesn't. So he said, if Marshall says to him, Chamorcha zeh, so then the equipment is sold. If he says Chamorcha hu, then the equipment is not sold. So the Gemara says, Ma'ishno Chamorcha zu, or Chamorcha zeh, or Ma'ishno Chamorcha hu. Why is one different than the other? Amar Rava Chamorcha zu, if he says, your donkey, this one, so the word this one is superfluous. Yoda de chamer dideyu. He knows it's his donkey because he says Chamorcha, your donkey, and then he says this one. That which he said, this one, this is coming to include all of the equipment. Mishum kelev kamale. Chamorcha hu, if he says, is he your donkey? So here, the lo yoda de chamer dideyu, he didn't know if it was his. So he's just saying, is he your donkey? Is he your donkey? Shetim karenali, that you should sell it to me. And since he didn't say anything superfluous, so therefore he's not including with it the extra equipment of the saddlebag, the sack, and the and the side saddle. By the way, this again always emphasizes that fine print in these sales make a very big difference. One word makes a difference. Now, as I always told you, when dealing with somebody like Marshall, read the fine print. Now,
Especially when you're buying my donkey.
Right. That's not poor Marshall. Marshall gets rich on these things. Watch out for him.
I'll give you a name for all the
Sure.
thank you. It's Chana Sarah Bas Abraham, my wife's aunt.
We learned for Chana Sarah Bas Avram, Stephen Holtzman's wife's aunt. Her neshama should have an aliyah. She should have a lichtige Gan Eden and B'li Militzes Yeshara for a family, for all of us and all of Klal Yisrael. We welcome in Avram Sheps. Now,
Amen, thank you.
you're welcome. New Mishnah. Hamoicher es hachamor. If Marshall sells a donkey, mocher es hasyach, he sells with it its foal. But mocher es hapara, if he sells a cow, loy mocher es bana, he doesn't sell the calf with it. Now the Gemara is going to ask, why should it be a difference? So says the Gemara, the Mishnah further, Mocher Ashpa, if he sells a dump, Mocher Zivla, he sells with it the manure, Mocher Bar, if he sells a well, Mocher Meimeh, he sells with it its water, Mocher Keveris, if he sells a beehive, this is a man-made beehive, Mocher Devarim, he sells with it the bees, Mocher Shoivech, if he sells a dovecote, Mocher Yoinim, he sells with it the doves. Now, in the case, we said there's a difference. If he sells a donkey, he sells the foal, but if he sells the cow, he doesn't sell the calf. So, Heichidami, what's the case? If he says it and its child, then that would apply to the calf too. Afilu para bananami. And if he doesn't say it with the child, so then why does Yisrael get the foal? Afilu chamor namila, you shouldn't get the baby donkey either. Amar Papa, the amalei chamor manika, he says a nursing donkey or para manika, and a nursing cow. Now nobody drinks donkey milk, although Marshall will try to sell you that. But no, I'm telling you, watch out, Avram. Nobody's drinking donkey milk. So the Gemara says, Bishleima para, if he sells a nursing cow, that just means that Yisrael wants to buy the milk. Why is he telling him a nursing donkey? Must be that's so he's selling it together with the foal. Why is it called a syach? This is interesting. You see, a foal responds to gentle words. By the way, women are that way too. Men are that way too. Manerach meishiv chema. A soft tongue retards anger. The Ramban, when he writes, and welcome Richard Rosenzweig, it's great to have you. The Ramban, Richard, if you come online, you'll kick us to 31, which is B'gematria Kel, the Almighty, which is great. It's the same thing is true for Sandy Grunfeld. But anyway, the Ramban in his Igeris, the first thing that he gives advice is that all our words should be benachas, gentle, l'kol adam, to all people, even those difficult people, and b'kol ace, at all times, even those hard times, like Erev Shabbos right before Shabbos, or Erev Pesach, or when we were in a rush. But anyway, says the Gemara, why is he called a foal? Because it follows gentle words. A donkey, an adult donkey, is stubborn, and you need to use the goad on it. But the young foal still responds to gentle words. Amar Shmuel ben Achman, Amar Rabbi Yochanan. What is that which is written? Al kain yoimru hamoishlim. Therefore, the rulers say. This is perfect for Elul. And we're going to talk about this later in the Chumash here. What does it mean, hamoishlim, rulers? Elu hamoishlim beyitzra. If you want to rule over your passion, bo cheshbon, make a calculation. Make the calculation of the world. Hefsid mitzvah. How much are you going to lose by doing a mitzvah? How much are you going to lose? It's going to cost you money. Keneged schara. And compare it to the reward of nitzchias. Or schar aveira. And the fleeting joy of doing a sin, keneged hefseda, compared to the eternal punishment. If you do that, if you stop to make a cheshbon, tiboneh v'sikainen, You'll be built and you'll be established. Imata oisikein tibana ba'ilam hazeh. You'll be built up in this world. V'sikainen la'ilam haba. You'll be established in the next world. Ir sichain imeisim odam atzmai ke'ayir zeh. Because siach is a foal. If you make yourself like a foal, shemahalech achar sicha noeh, that follows the gentle talk, the sweet talk of the Yetzer Hara. Why are you getting up? The bed is so delicious. Do you know how nice it is to look at this stuff? Maksiv acharav ki eish yotza mei cheshbon. A fire will come out of cheshbon. What does that mean? Teitzei eish mimechashbon. What do we say? We said that people will be burnt by the chuppah of the tzaddikim. A fire will come out from those that made a cheshbon, v'toichel, and burn a sheina mechashbon. The people that don't stop to make a cheshbon. They just live by their instincts. The lahava mikirya sichain, and a flame will come out from sichain. Here sichain is referring to the tzaddikim. Mikirya tzaddikim. It's coming from the city of tzaddikim. Shenikra, they're called shichin. They're called trees. Like Rashi, the Rashbam says, tzaddik katama yifrach. Tzaddik will flourish like a date palm, and it says further, ke'erez balvan and yizgeh, and they will be many like the cedars in Lebanon. And it also says, "Who I made bein ha'adasim." The tzaddikim are compared to hadasim, to myrtles, as it says, "Ein hadasim el tzaddikim dechsiva yi oimein es hadasa." Achla or moyav will consume our moyav. Zeh hamahalech acha yitzray. This is a person who follows his passion. Ke'ayir zeh, like the foal, shemahalech acha sichana, who follows sweet talk. Balei bamois arnain, those of the high places of arnain. Elu gasei aruach, these are those that are arrogant. Arrogance leads a person to Gehenna. The Amar Bar Kol Adam Sheyesh by Gasas Ruach, a person who is arrogant, Neufel began. You see, a person that's arrogant is not going to listen to advice, is not going to think to change their ways, because they think they know everything, and they think they know better. So therefore, an arrogant person is likely to fall into Gehenna. Okay, we will stop over here now and go to the Chumash here, but it is my job to tell you now what time is Motzi Shabbos. Let's see. You know what, Rabbi say? On the calendar, it says over here, I know, but I want to announce it now so we have time to correct it. Because since I'm going to my daughter's Shalom Zacher, so I have to come back. So we're going to make Motzei Shabbos. We'll correct it on the different charts. We're going to make Motzei Shabbos 9:30. Yeah, 9:30.